It is Friday, a little after 2 o'clock, and this is when we do WLTW, what I learned this week, what you learned this week, what we all have collectively learned this week. So this is fun. You can kind of play along. You can just leave a comment below to share what you learned this week, and you can also, just one thing that you learned, and you can also use the hashtag WLTW, so that way you could put it up in your own posts and your own stuff, and we would be able to find out what you learned this week. So, because the reason we do this is that it feels like by the time Friday afternoon, like 4 o'clock or so comes around, so by the time 4 o'clock rolls around or so, you start like thinking about your weekend plans, and then all of a sudden your weekend is off and running, and you think like, oh, what did I actually learn this week? Like that never comes across, right? You're just barreling from one thing into the next. So this is just, we take 10 minutes on Instagram Live every Friday to ask you, what did you learn this week? So you can leave a comment below and let me know what you learned this week. So I'm Annie Schiffman. I'm the founder of Downstage Media, and at Downstage Media, we give theater people who are overwhelmed by social media a plan of what to post, so that way they can connect with their audiences online. And so I thought I would just dive in right now. Let me know if you, okay. All right, so we're gonna jump in. The first thing I wanted to say is, if you are a theater person, which you probably are, or an actor or a theater company, I just wanted to say your work totally matters. I watched an 8-year-old on Wednesday night fall in love with a show. She watched Wicked. My daughter and I went to go see Wicked, and she completely became entranced with the show and laughed at the right places and like got so excited at the right places and like would scream at the end of songs. So the reason I'm bringing that up is that your work absolutely matters, and people want to see the work that you do. And it's important that you get that work out there, that people know who you are, they know what your talent is, so that way they can enjoy you and they can fall in love with you the way that my daughter fell in love with the woman who played Glinda on Wednesday night. Shoot, okay, I can get it. If you want me to get the playbill, I will get it. Just leave me a little comment or something and I'll get it, because it's right over there. So I really learned that the work that actors and performers and directors and lighting designers and prop people, and prop masters, that you all do is so valuable and so important. Oh, a quick reminder, if I'm going to be going through some stuff that's a little bit more technical next, and if you want to, I have it all up on the Downstage Media blog. So if you want any of this categorized, it'll be up there. The video will be up there. So that's where you can find all this later on. Okay, so the next, content. So conversations can become content, meaning like I had a couple of conversations with our clients, and it seemed to be about the same thing, that I would put something down on their content calendar, take a bunch of pictures at this event that you're having, and then they would say, they would say, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Can you just remind me? And I didn't want to have to remind them, because what if I forgot, and then that would mess them up and blah, blah, blah. So I figured out a way to do it and kind of automate it, and I want to let them know what that was. And I found myself doing that for like 4 clients within the span of 3 days. So I, of course, just instead of writing one email to one client and saying, hey, this is the answer to that question, I created a blog post with the answer to that question. And I implore you to do the same thing. So if you have questions about your theater, about your buying process, about what you do, about the show that you're in, make some kind of content about it, and then get that content out to more people so that you can answer that same question. If one person has it, as you know, more people have it. So use those conversations. You don't want to have any wasted conversation with your content. So I find, especially like if you have any kind of question more than once, that is a good sign that that's something that should become content for you. So that's another thing to bring up right there. But again, of course, I want to know, what is something that you learned this week? would love for you to leave a comment below or leave a post on Twitter or Instagram with the hashtag WLTW, because I'd love to know. I'd love this to be a forum where other people are learning from one another in the social media theater world. Okay, and finally, no one else but you is the boss of your time. And this is kind of a time management thing, but because so many of us are kind of running our own brands and possibly running our own businesses, I felt like it was very important to bring up. So this week I was in a meeting that was supposed to be a half hour long, and it wound up being an hour and a half. And at the 32, 34, 35 minute point, I could feel my blood pressure going up. I felt my heart racing. I was starting to freak out about the time because I knew I had so much other work that I had to get done and that this meeting was going over. So it was my own fault though. I could have easily said, hey, we had only scheduled this meeting for a half hour. I would love to talk more, but I have to go now. Let's set up a time. And I didn't, because I wasn't really valuing my time that much. So I just want to remind you that you are the boss of your time, and especially when you are the one who creates your time. If you're a freelancer, or if you have the kind of job, or you're just trying to build your brand, or your days are yours to build however you like, that's where you really have to be very stringent about it, because a half-hour meeting can turn into an hour-and-a-half meeting like that. And you want to let people know, teach people that that's just not how you're able to work your time. So no one else but you is the boss of your time. So that's the third takeaway for today. So we do this every single week, every Friday at 2 p.m. And you can go to downstage.media/blog to find all the notes from this show. I also am going to post this up on YouTube, IGTV, and on the blog itself. So you should be able to find it. But mostly we want to hear from you. So let me know what you learned this week. Just take 2 minutes, take stock of something you learned, leave a comment below, or create a post and use a hashtag WLTW, so that way we can all be learning from one another for in the actors, social media world. What kind of stuff are you learning? What did you learn this week? So thank you very much. I will see you next Friday. Next Friday, I'm going to be doing this from Austin, Texas, because I'm going to be at a Facebook Messenger marketing conference. So that should be super fun. And I look forward to talking to you then. Thank you so much.